how you have adopted the things to make that, to make yourself comfortable in Bob's skin.
Okay, well, first of all, Bob is fluent in Hindi. Alexx is not so much. Bob is fluent in Sanskrit. Alexx is not. So it took a lot of working through specific shlokas. Ya enam veti hantaram yaschanam manyate hatam uboto navajanito. So, I can recite full Sanskrit dialogues from the Bhagavad Gita because Bob can. He is a character who's embraced the Indian culture, as have I, but he's kind of lost himself in it. He's used the Bhagavad Gita to give his life structure. And that is why in episode 9, you kind of see that it's an outward set of principles that have been mapped onto Bob's life. And anything that comes from the outside is easy to take off. Things that come from within are very difficult to separate yourselves from. But something that's a construct coming from the outside, it's paper thin. So that's another reason why Bob changes. But it was a journey that required a lot of delving deep into the Bhagavad Gita. Ram sent me 3 copies of the Bhagavad Gita, so I really dove in. I find it fascinating because it's one of the oldest epic stories. It's something that even people walking around India today who haven't read the Gita, their lives are so influenced by it because of the parables, because of Arjun, because of Krishna, because of all of these stories that, you even tell children as nursery rhymes sometimes, you use these stories to teach them the morals. And so I think that this was a huge gift to me to better understand India, to better understand my Indian friends who may not even look at the Gita as something that influences them, but it does. So I think that Bob represents a foundation of Aarya that none of the other characters represent. So this is an American musician in an Indian extended family, and he's the one talking about the Gita. They're not. He's the one saying, Bhagavad Gita tells us, that the soul lives on, that no one truly ever dies. And they're looking at him like he's the alien. So it's an interesting dynamic here. And so to get into Bob's skin, I had to really understand the Gita, read through the Gita, memorize a lot of the Gita. As a musician, I'm already a musician. As you may know, as your viewers may know, I released Still on My Mind, my first debut single and music video. On the 3rd of July, I'm releasing my second called 20 Days. Both of these videos feature Shama Sikandar, which is lovely. It's always wonderful to have a beautiful face in your music videos. And in between the release of these 2 sits Aarya. And that was just sheer luck. I've got 6 films, if you can imagine, 6 films. I've got Chere, Ruhi Afsa, Golandaj, Rani, The Brave Child, and what's the other one? Okay, someone's going to be really angry at me for forgetting a movie that I shot with him. But anyway, the point is that I've got so many movies. We all have so many movies that are waiting for theaters to reopen. I thought Aarya was going to be one of those that was going to have to wait. But like my music videos, everything was shot before the lockdown. Just the audio needed to be completed. So, we all did the dubbing from our home locations. I did it from Lokhandwala, then when I was in quarantine in Amsterdam, and now while I'm here in Katwijk, about an hour outside Amsterdam. So I had 3 locations. Every time we were dubbing, Vinod would say, well, where the hell are you now? It's a completely different place. I was moving around the globe as we were dubbing this series. So I was worried it was going to get stuck like everything else has gotten stuck. And that made me really sad. But to have it happen right now in between the release of my 2 music videos is an absolute joy, because it's the first project I've ever done that links music and acting. And so for me, it's an incredibly special project in that way.